But I am very, very, very intrigued by this one. Karen Slaughter calls it terrifying and unputdownable. All the dates and deets are going to be down below. Deets, who am I? You'd think by now I would have put a hold on my weirdness. Gloria Vanderbilt, I feel like I'm also saying that really strange. There is a reason I requested this book, you guys. You haven't clicked off yet. You're probably leaving me now. Don't leave, don't leave. Hi everybody, it's Audrey and welcome back to Chapter and Converse and welcome to another round of what's coming out this month. We're talking February now. So I just put up a video of kind of my most anticipated auto read pre-orders of the year so far. So I kind of feel like spending a lot of time talking about new releases, but there's so many good books. And I did some quick math about what I talked about in January. So this list is maybe like half as long as the January list, but I talked about 14 books in January. As of the time I'm filming this, 2 of them haven't come out yet, but I pre-ordered one of them, the Benjamin Stevenson book. But I have read 6 of the other 12 books. This is so many numbers I'm throwing out at you guys. I have a 50% success rate so far on what I talked about in January. So I feel like I'm doing better than I did last year. I said genuinely a ton in a different video I did, and then as I was editing it, I was like, wow, you sound so disingenuous every time you say genuinely. I'm so freaking excited for all of these books, but I'm trying to cast a smaller net in some ways. I don't know. I am drinking the 2024 Kool-Aid this year when it comes to books. So we're going to keep on drinking as we get into February. So let's just dive right in. The first book I have is Almost Surely Dead by Amina Akhtar. So this came out in February 1st. This was an Amazon First Reads, which I 1000% snagged as my book of the month. So she wrote Kismet and #Fashion Victim, which I haven't read yet, but I own both of them. Kismet was on my best of, or not my best of. Kismet was on my 23 and 23. But I didn't read it, so we're gonna read it this year. Anyway, it's totally fine. So this one is a psychological thriller with a twist, and it says it's a chilling account of how one woman's life spins out of control after a terrifying and seemingly random attempt on her own life. So Dania Ahmed lives an ordinary life, or she definitely used to. Now she's the subject of a true crime podcast. Love. She's been missing for over a year, and no one knows if she's dead or alive. But her story has listeners obsessed, and people everywhere are sporting merch that demands, find Dania. In the days before her disappearance, she's a successful pharmacist living in New York. The daughter of Pakistani immigrants, she's coping with a broken engagement and the death of her mother. But then something happens that really shakes up her world. Someone tries to murder her. So Kismet was blurbed by Jennifer Hillier, which you know was like a gateway into any book for me. And I also heard great things about it from Kate on Killing the Tea. So when I saw that she had a book for Amazon First Reads, I automatically got it. And I'm going to read it. So stay tuned for that one. Okay, now I have the great fortune of having a lot of arcs of a lot of these books. So hopefully by the time you see this / I'm doing my February wrap up, I will have read some of these. And the first one, so this is a bunch of books coming out on February 6th. All the dates and deets are going to be down below. Deets, who am I? All the details are going to be down below. Come on, Audrey. So I do have an e-arc of this one, and this is Everyone Who Can Forgive Me Is Dead by Jenny Hollander. So this book 1000% grabbed me with the cover, and then the title, and then I read what it was about, and I was like, yep, absolutely, this one's for me. So it says she has everything to live for and everything to hide. I mean, the title is perfect. Everyone Who Can Forgive Me Is Dead. Ugh. So 9 years ago, with the world's eyes on her, Charlie Colbert fled. The press and the police called Charlie a witness to the nightmarish events at her elite graduate school on Christmas Eve, events known to the public as Scarlet Christmas. Though Charlie knows she was much more than that. Now Charlie has meticulously rebuilt her life. She's the editor-in-chief of a major magazine. She is engaged to the golden child of the publishing industry, and she is hell-bent on never, ever letting her guard down again. But when a buzzy film made by one of Charlie's former classmates threatens to shatter everything she's worked for, Charlie realizes how much she's changed in 9 years. Now she's not going to let anything, not even the people she once loved most, get in her way. So I've heard some fantastic things about this. I don't know why I make weird noises. The things you don't realize you do until you start making videos. You'd think by now I would have put a hold on my weirdness. Anyway, our good friend Jennifer Hillier also blurbed this one. It says, a dark and dazzling debut. Also blurbed by Ashley Winstead, a nail-biting ride that will keep readers turning the pages long into the night, which kind of makes me want to pick this one up next. So we will find out, but lots of great things about this book. Again, a debut, twisty thriller, all the things, and I'm very excited for it. So I'm also very curious what all Charlie got up to. Okay, and now a familiar name is Frida McFadden, and this is The Teacher. So this is her latest and greatest. And this one says, Lesson 1, trust no one. Eve has a good life. She gets up each day, gets a kiss from her husband, Nate, and heads off to teach math at the local high school. All is as it should be, except, there's always an except in a thriller. Last year, that was an alert in the background. Last year, Kismet High was rocked by a scandal involving a student-teacher affair with one student, Addie, at its center. But Eve knows there's far more to these ugly rumors that meets the eye. Addie can't be trusted. She lies, she hurts people, she destroys lives. At least that's what everybody says. But nobody knows the real Addie. Nobody knows the secrets that could destroy her. And Addie will do anything to keep it quiet. So I feel like when it comes to a Frida McFadden book, I just expect the unexpected, go in expecting something like bingey and kind of wild and page-turny. And that's what I'm here for. So I'm sure this will be another one. So I've read a couple of her books. I definitely want to read The Handmaid's Secret this year. I own it. There's no excuse. And the third book in that series is coming out. Frida McFadden is like a machine. Like, she can crank out a book, you guys. There's always weird traffic noises every time I film a video. So anyway, if you are a Frida fan, add that one to your list. All right, next up we have Night Watching, and this is by Tracy Sierra. So I'll be honest, you guys, when you look this up on Goodreads, I think it's Goodreads where I saw it, and it was like, basically every review contains spoilers. Like, even if it's not intentional, this is one of those books that I think you really want to go into super in the dark. So I am kind of more looking at what other people said about it in terms of blurbs. So we have like nightmarish, you won't be able to look away, heart-thumping and mesmerizing. Karen Slaughter calls it terrifying and unputdownable. And Jillian McAllister says the most gripping thriller I have ever read. This was a Gare from Killing the Tea recommendation, and I don't remember when he was talking about this, but I went onto NetGalley and was able to get a copy of it. So basically, I'm just going to read you the top line, which is, it's a thriller about a mother forced to the breaking point when her life and the lives of her children are threatened by an intruder. So I'm fairly certain this is fairly terrifying. I absolutely want to get to some of these February 6th books before February 6th, but the possibility of having nightmares is kind of freaking me out a little bit. I'm having like The Last Word by Taylor Adams flashbacks, because that book definitely gave me I had a moment with that book. And I'm thinking about a couple other books that I read that definitely put some thoughts into my head before I went to bed at night, which kind of scared me. So we'll see. I think this one is like legit scary, but it also kind of, it's like that, if it scares you, you should do it kind of a thing. So anyway, on my list for sure. Like I said, I have it, so I'm going to read it. I feel like I just need to psych myself up for it, and maybe sleep with the lights on. Okay, something in the grand scheme compared to Night Watching, I feel like is a little bit lighter. This is The Resort by Sarah Oakes. I don't know if it's just me. This to me looks like it's made for like a book of the month book. I feel like it reminds me of She Started It. I think it's She Started It by C.Ann Gilbert from last year. I don't know, it has like that same kind of look and feel to it. So this is Welcome to Paradise. We hope you survive your stay. So this is a vacation thriller. I feel like for those of us who are probably going to be still in the cold, dank days of February, we'll be happy to have a nice beachy place to read about murder. So this is set on a remote island in Thailand following two mysterious women, a charismatic group of expats, and the one murder poised to bring their paradise crashing down. So 3 rules to follow during a vacation at the famous Koh Sang Resort. Number 1, leave the past behind. Number 2, always be careful who you trust. And number 3, if someone discovers who you really are, run. So we have our main character named Cass, and this is a world famous party island, and she is looking for an escape. Oh, so we're gonna have a past timeline, leave the past behind. So she goes here looking for a place to escape, and this becomes the perfect place for her to hide. Now it is years later. She's a local dive instructor alongside the Permanents, a group of expats who have claimed the island as their own. The Permanents don't linger on who they were before the island, simply because, like Cass, they all have something to outrun. And then I'm going to guess something happens, and then comes the running, or somebody chasing them, or something like that. So kind of right up my alley. Kind of definitely totally the kind of book that I like to read. So again, have an e-arc of this one too. Stay tuned for more on that one. And then the next book is the newest Hank Phillippi Ryan called One Wrong Word. I actually have the audio arc of this, which I'm super excited about. You guys know that I'm like living for audiobooks a lot these days too. And here we have one. So I have read a couple Hank Phillippi Ryan books. If you guys have been around this channel for a while, you have heard me talk about her so many times. I've seen her at multiple conferences. I have watched trainings with her. She does the back room events on Sunday nights with Karen Dion. She is just everything and then some. She's such a great writer. She's such a great educator when it comes to writing, and such generosity. Like if you hear other people talk about her, other writers, and how she's really helped people, just a huge fan of hers. So the blurb on this one is, one wrong word can ruin your life. And no one knows that better than savvy crisis management expert Arden Ward. Problem is, she's now forced to handle a shocking crisis of her own. Unfairly accused of having an affair with a powerful client, words, Arden's life and dreams are about to crash and burn. Then Arden is given an ultimatum. She has just 2 weeks to save her career and her reputation. So, is Cordelia Bannister the answer to her prayers? I don't know. Who is Cordelia? Cordelia needs Archer's help for her husband, Ned, a Boston real estate mogul. Did I mention that Hank Phillippi Ryan is a journalist in Boston, and I live for anything that happens in Boston? Again, if you guys have been here, you know. Not to repeat myself, but I just did. So, Ned was recently acquitted in a fatal drunk driving accident, but his reputation is garbage. And the fallout is devastating, not only to the Bannister's life, but to the lives of their 2 adorable children. So this is the case that's going to give Arden the chance to protect her future, to turn her reputation around, and to help this family in the process. So it says, gossip, lies, rumors, words like that can hurt you. And Arden knows the reality. Sometimes one wrong word can kill. She always writes great twisty books, and I love anything set in Boston. So I'm excited for this one, and actually, let's take a sneak peek at who is doing the audiobook while we're here. Gail Shalin. I have to say I'm not familiar with Gail, which means absolutely nothing because there's only so many. Oh, she read the writing retreat. I read that. She read the audiobook of that. She did St. Ambrose School for Girls, which I haven't read yet, but I have it back there, along with like tons of other things. Thicker Than Water, just books. So, veteran audiobook narrator. Okay, one change of the battery and a definitely different view later, and we're back. So, the next book I have is The Fortune Seller. This is by Rachel Kalpecki Dale, and this I actually also have an audiobook arc of. So, she wrote The Ballerinas, which, at the risk of repeating myself again, I have it, but I haven't read it yet. But I am very, very intrigued by this one. I love the cover of this book. Okay, this is read by Stephanie Cannon, for those in the know or those interested. So this is pitched as Yellow Jackets meets The Cloisters, in this beguiling coming-of-age story about class, reinvention, and destiny, set against the backdrop of 2 mysterious deaths. They had me at 2 mysterious deaths. I have never seen Yellow Jackets. I don't have the channel. And I own The Cloisters, but I haven't read it yet. But I'm super intrigued by this story. I can't speak to either of those things is my point. So here we go. Middle-class Rosie McAllister has worked for years to fit in with her wealthy friends at the Yale equestrian team. On the Yale equestrian team. But when she comes back from her junior year abroad with newfound confidence, she finds that the group has been infiltrated by a mysterious intruder, Annalise Tattinger. Doesn't she sound like the Champagne Girl? A talented tarot card reader and brilliant writer, the enigmatic Annalise is unlike anyone Rosie has ever met. But when one of their friends notices money disappearing from her bank account, Annalise's place in the circle is thrown into question. As the girls turn against each other, the group's unspoken tensions and assumptions lead to devastating consequences. It's only after graduation, when Rosie begins a job at a Manhattan hedge fund, that she uncovers Annalise's true identity and how her place in their elite EL set was no accident. So we're going to find out what happens. It's set in the heady days of the early aughts. Love that for all of us. The fortune teller is a haunting examination of, as I said before, class, ambition, and the desires that shape our lives. Now, full disclosure, I don't know if it's Annalise or Annalisa. I went to college with someone who spells her name the same way as this, and her name was Annalisa. So, Annalise or Annalisa Tattinger. That's who we're going with. Fantastic name, by the way. So I'm very excited for this. Give me the early aughts. Give me some past and present timelines. Give me some dark and messed up female friendships. There is a reason I requested this book, you guys. So stay tuned on that one. And then another familiar name on the channel is John Mars. His latest and greatest, I already said that before about somebody else, but his latest is The Stranger in the House, Stranger in Her House. There's a stranger in her house. So you guys know I have made a little bit of a deal with myself to not buy any more of his books till I read some of his books that I already own. So we'll see how long that lasts. I'm really trying not to break promises to myself. So this says, a stranger has infiltrated your family and now he's taking over. Paul's just here to help, or so he claims. Sent by a charity for vulnerable people to do odd jobs for elderly widow Gwen. But for Gwen's daughter Connie, there's just something about Paul that rings alarm bells from day one. He's a little bit too kind, a little too involved. And worse still, Gwen seems to have fallen under his spell. So I'm not going to read anything more about this because John Mars is another one of those authors who I feel like expect the unexpected. There was an asbestos question that came up at work today. I feel like that's lodged in my head. Expect the unexpected, expect dark and messed up, expect super twisty, and then just like I feel like expect it all to get blown out of the water. I need to be reading more of his books because I have loved everything of his that I have read, and there's so much backlist for me to catch up on, but I'm definitely eyeing this one. And if you guys are a fan of his, well, this is very much a no-brainer. So there we go. And then I have two books that I pre-ordered. So I talked about these in the video where I tell you the books that I pre-ordered. So the first one is A Step Past Darkness by Vera Kurian. So this comes out on the 20th. And I am very amped for this one. So she wrote Never Saw Me Coming, which I loved. Like, great voice, great female lead character, the psychopath study, cat and mouse, kill or be killed kind of a thing. So I have very high expectations for this book, but I'm trying to manage my expectations too. So this one, again, right in my wheelhouse. 6 classmates, one terrifying night, a murder 20 years in the making. There's something sinister under the surface of the idyllic suburban town of Wellesley Falls, and it's not just the abandoned coal mine that lies beneath it. The summer of 1995 kicks off with a party in the mine where 6 high school students witness a horrifying crime that changes the course of their lives. And this was for 1995, in case anybody was confused. The 6 couldn't be more different, so we have Maddie, Kelly, James, Casey, Padma, and Gia. And it says, when they realize they can't trust anyone but each other, they begin to investigate what happened on their own. And as tensions escalate in town to a breaking point, the 6 make a vow of silence, bury all their evidence, and promise to never contact each other again. Their plan almost works. And then we get a 20 years later timeline, and then I don't know, things are going to happen. Things are going to happen. So past and present timelines, dark group of friends, secrets, lies, murders. I'm definitely going to be picking this one up when it comes in the mail because I'm so excited for this. Never Saw Me Coming came out, I believe, in 2021. So this is I feel like a long-awaited second novel, but I really enjoy Vera Kurian. I listened to a ton of interviews and things with her after her first book came out, and if anyone watched my not so much goals, but how I'm getting into 2024, and I'm I need to stop multitasking. I'm trying to type in Amanda J. Tisa while I'm talking to you guys about Vera Kurian, And the first thing that comes up is Amanda Jeans by Gloria Vanderbilt. Is Gloria Vanderbilt still making jeans? I mean, I know Gloria Vanderbilt has passed, but like Gloria Vanderbilt jeans, Vanderbilt, I feel like I'm also saying that really strange. Like Gloria Vanderbilt was a thing when I was a kid. I didn't realize that there's like a second coming. Everything old is new again. I've never felt older, but I'm at the point where trends are coming back of things that I wore and people think it's new. I saw this, total sidebar. I saw this, I think it was an Instagram reel, and it was about, or it was on a podcast. It was one or the other. Anyway, it was about how kids today were talking about the magic of, oh my God, there's like flared yoga pants and the ones that fold down as if this has never been a thing before. Like it's only been like running pants, kind of workout pants, but now there's flared ones. And it's like, plenty of us wore the flared yoga pants, maybe with some Uggs underneath it, some giant sweaters, some other stuff, maybe just me, I don't know. Didn't just wear it on a plane. But the idea that people think that's new when in fact that's just, it's just a regurgitation of things from 15 plus years ago. So anyway, all right, the last book I have, you haven't clicked off yet. You're probably leaving me now. Don't leave, don't leave. Okay, last book I have is Island Witch by Amanda Giatisa. So I do have an e-arc of this one. She wrote My Sweet Girl and You're Invited, which were two books I loved. I also talked about this in my pre-order book video. So apologies for the repeat nature. It's just, these are coming too close together. But this is set in 19th century Sri Lanka and inspired by local folklore. The daughter of a traditional demon priest, relentlessly bullied by peers and accused of witchcraft herself, tries to solve the mysterious attacks that have been terrorizing her coastal village. So I think this goes legitimately ghosty, but I'm not totally sure because I haven't read it yet. So I don't know if we're going to get illusions of ghost, if it is in fact supernatural, or if it's just thriller with questions. So I'm like looking at it, but like I don't want to look at it. I'm looking at the words, but I'm not connecting them into any kind of a way. So in this one, we have, being the daughter of the village of Capua, or demon priest, Amara is used to keeping mostly to herself. Influenced by the new religious practices brought in by the British colonizers, the villagers who once respected her father's craft have turned on the family. Yet they still seem to call on him whenever supernatural disturbances arise. Now someone, or something, is viciously seizing upon men in the jungle, but instead of enlisting Amara's father's help, the villagers have accused him of carrying out the attacks herself. So she winds up, I believe, trying to find out what exactly is happening. I don't know. This is definitely a departure for her, but I really enjoy her writing. I'm very, very curious about this one. And again, anything that's sort of is like, is it ghosty? Is it not? Is it just the evil that people are? Or is there something else happening here? So I'm just obviously excited. I've already ordered it. So stay tuned about, I was going to say stay tuned and find out about this one. I feel like I'm doing an infomercial. Stay tuned to find out about this one though. And I will let you guys know what I think when I read it. So this was a video, you guys, but it's just, there's so many good books coming out. And as I was doing that video, there's like 15 books in March and like another 12 in April, and it just keeps growing and growing. I'm so overwhelmed by all the books, like good overwhelmed in an excited way. But again, every video I ask, like, where's the time? Where's the time to do all these books? So you guys, I'm going to go because I have books to read and videos to film to talk about books and a book of my own that I'm writing. So on that note, thank you guys so much for being here. Let me know, what is your most anticipated book of February? What did I miss? Is it one of the books I talked about? I know there's a whole lot of other books coming out in February. So let me know that. Let me know whatever you want to let me know. I hope everyone is doing well. We have moved from Arctic cold into rain. It is just the dreariest January ever. So I am just very grateful to have something fun to do since I'm locked inside. But all right, I'm gonna go. I will talk to you guys in the next video. And until then, take care, everybody. Bye.